We got these two 10s, okay, smoke shows, WWE Divas, piled in the passenger seat of my Lambo. We head out to Jackson's. As I'm pulling up to the valet, who do I see standing at the valet? My ex and her new boyfriend. This couldn't have been a more perfect scenario. All right, so my YouTube channel sucks, and my intention is to fix that. I am not a YouTuber. I'm not even a content creator. I create content, but I'm an entrepreneur. I have an 8-figure company that I'm actively growing, and I actually get up and work every day. So when people on my team who are amazing and do really, really good things on my other platforms, but when they're giving me scripts and say, hey, you should do this on YouTube, it's like, I don't have time for that, or I just don't have the bandwidth right now because we're moving into the new facility, or I'm building, or some major initiative, coming up with all these excuses. But the reality of it is I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do something that's scripted like all these other jerk-offs that are on there, and that's all they do all day is make these YouTube videos. But I do understand the importance of being on the platform. I consume the content from the platform, so I quite understand the importance of being on there, being active, being present, and having a following, which again, my following on YouTube is just, it's horrendous, especially proportional to the other platforms. So I had an idea. Came to me. I was laying in bed, couldn't sleep, had a bunch of creative ideas flowing through my brain, which happens quite frequently at night. It came to me. It's like, look, what can I do effortlessly? What can I do that won't be stressful, that won't, like when I do a podcast, the preparation for that. I mean, I want to make sure I deliver a good episode. So I'm going to prep for that. And that's a lot of prep, a lot of time, a lot of energy. But like I needed something that the resistance was just very minimal and I could actually enjoy and have fun doing it. So what I've decided to do is basically tell stories from my life. I've lived what I like to think is a pretty interesting life. And a lot of times, most of the time, when I show up on social, I'm basically telling people in different iterations to not be useless, don't be a fat piece of shit, don't be broke, you know what I mean? Don't be unimportant. It's different versions of delivering that message. Although I highly recommend you do all of those things, or don't do all those things, as it were. I wanted to show a different side of me here on YouTube. So without further ado, this is gonna be the first episode of Tales from the Crib. Remember Tales from the Crypt? Back in the day, it's a play on that. Some of these young guys that are gonna be seeing this might not understand the reference. Nevertheless, basically it's just gonna be me telling stories, like I said, in today's inaugural pilot episode of Tales from the Crib. This one was hand chosen. I selected this one very strategically because I wanted to come out of the gate strong with this thing and set the fucking tone for what this content, what the show is going to look like. The story that you are going to hear today is one of redemption and glory. It is one man's conquest to extract revenge on an ex-girlfriend that he believed did him wrong. I'm just gonna go out on a limb in saying it. I do not know that there's been a single time in human history where someone has got back at their ex or made their ex more jealous than this situation and this story that you're about to hear. Because I honestly, to this day, this is certainly wasn't my intention, as you guys are going to hear. I think if you're going out of your way and spending the energy to make an ex jealous, that's a bit petty. However, like, I'm also a realist, and all men understand the feeling, the shitty feeling of getting out of a relationship and then running in your ex when she's with her new boyfriend. Okay, it's not a good feeling. We are territorial beings, and even if we were the ones who broke off the relationship, as was the case in this situation. I broke it off with her. I mean, she was hot. I mean, she was a 10, no question. The sex was phenomenal, which is likely what kept me in the relationship probably 5 to 6 months after I originally thought I should break it off. Finally, just realized this wasn't going anywhere and broke it off. Maybe about a month, 5 weeks tops later, I ran into her and apparently her new boyfriend at the gym. And this what was offensive to me. It's like, what, a month, 5 weeks? Like, that is not enough time in the standards that I have for myself and what I think to be morally just. I mean, I wasn't jealous, a bit annoyed, certainly aggravated, and I felt like that was a personal attack. Now, I'm not saying that you should feel that way. I'm saying what was going on in my mind when the situation happened. So I'm like, man, I'm not trying to go out like that. It's like she needs to, I mean, at least 6 months before she even thinks about giving her number to another guy. At least that's, what I'm thinking. So this was quite a surprise to me. And in my mind, the only thing that I could do is get revenge and make her feel some type of way. So I just thinking about, like, when I see her out, if I see her out, hopefully I don't, but if I do, then, what I would do and how I'd go about, making her jealous without looking like I'm making her jealous. And I thought about it a lot. Now, about 3 weeks after I ran into her and her new boyfriend at the gym, I had a date with a girl who's a friend of mine. She was also a WWE Diva. And I'm not going to say which one because it does not matter. That detail is not relevant to the scope of this story. But we met to have sushi, and it was a Friday night, Friday or Saturday, one of the two. And we're having sushi, and she said, "Oh, one of my friends is going to meet me up here. It's a girl I work with." And I was like, "All right, cool. Who is it?" And I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, so she told me the other girl's name, and I knew who she was. I had never met her. She shows up, and immediately there's chemistry between me and the other girl. And this is how women are, right? Like, they see you with a girl, a friend of theirs, right? One that they obviously are competing with, even though they're fake friends, but they're always competing. When a good-looking girl has an attention of a guy, automatically that guy becomes more attractive to all of her friends. That's just the way it works. But there was an immediate chemistry between her and I. The girl that I was there with, I mean, I wouldn't say we were dating. If you would ask her, she would have said that we were, but that's, I just think contrast in outlook and perspective. But nonetheless, so we finished eating the sushi, which was phenomenal, by the way, and we decided to go to this nightclub called Jackson's. That used to be the spot. And we decided to go to Jackson's, and again, there's one of me and two of them. And I have a Lamborghini. I was driving a Lamborghini that night. I basically load the girls up in the passenger seat. Lamborghini, for some of you guys who might not know, they're two-door vehicles and they do not have a back seat. So I got these two 10s, okay, smoke shows, WWE Divas, piled in the passenger seat of my Lambo. We head out to Jackson's, and God was looking out for your boy that night, because as I'm pulling up to the valet, who do I see standing at the valet? My ex and her new boyfriend. This couldn't have been a more perfect scenario. So I literally pull up right in front of them. All right, so they had to get out of the way. The valet comes over, opens the door for the girls. The girls spill out of the Lambo. Right, two 10s, WWE Divas, falling out of a bright orange Lamborghini. And then I get out, and she recognized my car, obviously. But I have to tell you, I don't know that I've ever felt more proud. And I know that that's petty. I know a lot of people are going to be surprised to hear that. But that was just like the ultimate win. And I wasn't even trying to do it. I had no idea, no knowledge whatsoever that she was going to be there. But I felt that this was just. This was the universe. This was karma coming back to do what it does. And honestly, it was, it was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I didn't say anything to the girls that I was with, because it's not a good look when you're with two beautiful women and you're talking about, your ex who was irrelevant at that point, and you actually were the one who broke up with. But we go into the club, and sure enough, okay, my table, I get a table for me and the girls. The table that they joined, they didn't have their own table. They joined someone else's table. The table that they joined was literally 2 tables away from mine. This was a great thing, because even though I wasn't really going out of my way to do anything that might make her feel some type of way, I was aware to a large degree that I was in her direct peripheral. I was aware of that. I wasn't necessarily thinking about it consciously, subconscious certainly. But making out with both the girls, of being honest, they weren't aware of it. One would go to the bathroom. I'm not proud of any of this. Just kidding, yes I am. They weren't aware of what was going on, obviously, but it was just a great night. And I knew that she was seeing all of this. And this is like the first 40 minutes now. The first 40 minutes of the time that I was in this club. And then I see her, she runs by our table, okay? And then you see her ex chasing her angrily, and they left. So obviously, whatever was going on, I was so in her head, that caused a fight between them, and they unceremoniously departed the club. And I felt like that at that point I was the winner. The universe recognized me as the winner in that scenario. The night ended with one of the girls we sent, the new girl who I just met, the new friend, put her in a cab. I paid for the cab. I slipped her my business card on the DL. So she'd have my contact. Obviously, I wasn't going to exchange contacts with her in front of the other girl. And then I went home with the other girl, and we did what two consenting adults do at 3 a.m. after partying all night. And then the next day, I get a text from the other girl. And then I go and hang out with her. And I mean, I'll let you guys use your imagination as to what happened with that. So that's all I have for you. This is the pilot episode of Tales from the Crib, and I am quite sure that this is going to get me in a lot of trouble. I feel like people are going to look at this, judge me by this content alone, which is completely fine. I don't necessarily view myself as like a pompous, egotistical, insecure douchebag, but I can definitely see how if people don't actually consume any of my other content or know nothing about me, them seeing this, it might hurt some feelings. Which is why we're going to be posting a lot of these.